What's up, guys? Welcome into the Gramlich and McLean podcast presented by our great friends over at Ingles. We have a jam-packed show for you guys today. Loaded up. The ACC Championship is set. Virginia clinched the other night. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. Got a huge win over their rival, Virginia Tech, something that they have not done in a long time and certainly not consistently, but they were able to make it happen. And of course, the Duke Blue Devils, by way of a five-way tie, have found their way in the ACC Championship. Two, totally different stories, totally different, perspectives. And we've got two representatives from both. Coach Elliot, Coach Tony Elliott, from Virginia there. Really fun, just insightful on his team and where they are and what he's thinking, what he was going through his mind when he walked in those doors to the locker room after winning the championship and what his team, think is going to provide, in this, potential playoff run. And then Darien Mensah, superstar quarterback from the Duke Blue Devils, just a baller. This guy has been so good all year long. Really fun to talk to him and his vantage point of this thing happening. Staying up super late, watching SMU let the game slip away. And by that, Duke clinched and made their way to the ACC Championship. So we break down this matchup, get a little bit of insight, kind of game talk from each of these guys and the challenge that each provide. But really, really fun conversation. So excited for that. We're going to get to a message from our friends over at Ingles, and then we are going to jump into these interviews. Let's do it.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA choice and prime meat? Did you know that they have more local craft beer than any place else? Or that they have Energy Smart stores? Or that they professionally slice and package imported cheese from Europe? Did you know about their giant international aisle, local farm partnerships, curbside pickup, wine department? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Coach E, great to see you, man. Man, it was awesome being with y'all this weekend. Let me just tell you, selfishly, it was one of the coolest things I've ever done. Just to hang out with you, a guy that obviously I admire and played for, and just the way you've built this program, to see where it's been, to see where you are, to be in that locker room and just hear, like, I was literally taken back to, wearing a helmet and shoulder pads, man. I was right there just listening to you, and it was just truly amazing. So if you could just share what that moment was like for you, walking in that locker room with the cup, with, a trip to Charlotte in your back pocket. What was all that like, man, when you walked in that locker room?
It was very humbling, first and foremost, because, man, it was something that started as a dream and a hope, and to actually be in that moment was pretty cool. But for me, it was not about me. It was about the players. It was about Dr. Williams. It was about the staff. And them having an opportunity to feel things that I've been fortunate over my career to have felt in the past.
Coach, it's really cool to see what you're doing at Virginia. And we talked about Carla Williams. We talked about it on our last podcast about just the belief that she had in you, but also the investment that Virginia has had in football. What do you think Virginia has shown about what it means to, hey, if you can invest and you can get the right people in place, you can win anywhere? What do you think that's shown maybe just to college football as a whole?
Yeah, college football is definitely different. It's changing every day, and the key is investment. And I know we talk a lot about the financial piece, and that's extremely important. But you also got to invest in the people. You got to invest in development and bring it all together. And you got to have some patience and understand that to build something that's sustainable, to build something that's meaningful, it's going to take some time and investment. But if you don't invest, you don't have a chance.
Yeah. And it's fun to see just how you guys have done it and the belief that she did have in you. And, just this whole team to come together the way it did. And for this, I mean, for us to have to go 14 weeks to find out who is playing in this game,
Right.
and the opportunity for you guys to take that, not be given that, but take that and earn that, against a rival that Virginia has struggled with in recent history. And listen, you were a part of something of that nature, like I was too at Clemson, where we just couldn't beat those guys for whatever reason until we did. And then we didn't really look back. And so how was that, I guess, kind of taking that next step as well, just getting the win over your rivals there?
Right. I think, a lot of people are going to see us play on Saturday and just assume, that was supposed to happen, or it was easy to get there. But it was, man, it's phases. There's a lot of things that had to be done. And I think in this game in particular, we had to change the mindset and understand what it means to truly be a rival. And have that healthy love-hate relationship with your rival, right? And I think there was a lot of hope that we could win that game, but I believe this team decided, a lot like I believe it was the 14 team that decided to do something different. And that was really the biggest thing, is this team decided to say, you know what, we can win this game. We will win this game. And you know what, we're not going to be afraid to play our best in this game. And I think that's what it takes when you get to rivalry games, because when you look at it, referencing back to what you talked about, in that 5-year span when we lost, it was like they had 15 turnovers. They created 15 turnovers. We created 3, right? And the teams were very balanced and matched talent-wise, but it was just a mentality of playing your best at that point. And I think that's been kind of, the challenge. But hopefully, like you said, this is where this program has now got the confidence to say, you know what, we're not looking back.
Yeah, you didn't just win, you dominated that game, which I know a lot of Virginia fans in that sellout crowd was just love to see. Coach, I know
I
you
can
have
attest to that, KG. They
yeah,
loved to
Mac was
see it.
there.
It was fun. It was fun.
Wearing his orange and blue. Coach, now I know you have a soft spot for running backs. That goes, all the way back your coaching career. Jamari Taylor is such an incredible story. I feel like people have talked so much about Chandler Morris, and that's an incredible story too. But a guy who spent 4 years, and one of them was a COVID year at North Carolina Central, and then he has the year he's had for you here at Virginia. What did you see from him when you saw him on tape in the portal that you thought, okay, this could really translate to an 1,000-yard rusher in the ACC?
Right. You saw a guy that could create on his own. So he's got the ability to stop and start, really good contact balance, not afraid to run between the tackles and drop his pads, very efficient catching the ball out of the backfield, and some toughness in pass protection. And those are things you see on tape, and you don't really know his true makeup until you get him in your program. But on his visit, I could tell that, man, this is a young man that's really, really humble. He's hungry. He's confident, but he's not arrogant. And he's willing to work. So those were the things that I saw. And then from day one out on the practice field, you could see, oh, man, I didn't see that on tape. Man, his feet are really good. He's got really, really good feet. Man, he's got really, really good vision. And then as he got more comfortable in the system, you could start to see the big play ability coming.
Yeah.
Coach, I think one thing, speaking of Chandler, that, I've kind of spoken about that is such an impressive trait about him, and he has a lot of them. But one that I guess it's because he's a coach's son. He's been in this his whole life, but just his ability to move on, good, bad, or indifferent. Next play, next drive, let's go. I mean, he has that, and I think that is such a valuable thing, especially now that we're in playoff football, we're in postseason football. You need that at an all-time high. He seems like he's at his best right now. What have you seen from him maybe these last 3 weeks? I know a bye week in between there, but that I guess excites you about this run that you can go on deep into the postseason.
He's just playing ball. He's just being himself. He's not worrying about anything on the outside. He understands that this is why he came to Virginia for this moment. He's comfortable in this moment, and he's helping other guys become comfortable in this moment. So it's really, really cool to see. And there was a little bit of a stretch, and he'll admit that, hey, maybe he was listening a little bit too much to what people were saying. And I had to remind him, I said, man, you're at your best when you're just playing free, bud. And you're not trying to be perfect, man. And like, what was it, the 16th season when D-Dub threw all those interceptions? But man, he just kept playing.
Yeah.
He just kept playing. And that's what a winner does. They might have a bad player too, but they're focused on the next one because they believe that they're going to be in a position to make the play, and they're not afraid of that moment.
Yeah, and I think he kind of self-admitted that. I don't think it was after the Wake Forest game just because of the injury, but maybe right before that, where he was saying I was being selfish. Like I was trying to make the big play instead of the right play. I was trying to do too much. What is that? What is that like? I mean, is that a conversation? Not that I want you to tell me what you necessarily said, but do you pull them aside? Do you sit down with them? Like, how does that acknowledgement? Because I think a lot of guys maybe, stick their nose up or say, "What are you talking about? Like I'm doing me." How did that, I guess, all
No,
take
so
place?
it really was a 2 conversations. The first one called him in and just, "Hey, say, hey, let's watch a little bit of tape. Hey, look, this is what I'm seeing. What are you thinking?" And we just had a good conversation about it and let him know that, hey man, you don't have to be perfect, man. Just go play ball. And reminded him when we were rolling, man, it's because you were playing free, right? Now I need you to get down. Right. I don't need you to take any unnecessary hits like early in the season, but you just gotta play free. And then just a quick, conversation, I think in passing in practice, man, just go play ball. Just be you, be free. Don't try to be perfect. These guys will come with you. And that's really, and so I'm not gonna say it was me. I think it was more him understanding and acknowledging that he was trying to be perfect, trying to make the big play, trying to force things as opposed to letting the game come to him.
Coach, when people look at your season, I feel like they're going to point to probably the Florida State game as a big
Mhm.
catalyst, right? But for me, when I look back, the NC State loss, and you might think, Kelly, you're bringing up the NC State loss on this podcast, but just bear with me.
No, no.
You guys played really well. You had a chance to win it at the end. You just had the turnover. And I look back at that game, and you were so positive in the post game. It felt like you saw something in that team. When I'm watching that game, I think, oh, Virginia, they're so close yet again, but they're still
Mhm.
losing on the road like that. But it all changed after that game. What do you feel like that game kind of led to for your team?
Yeah, it was going into a hostile environment and not flinching. And I knew that there was some areas of the team that were still a work in progress.
Mm.
And you saw some of those things kind of rear their head in that game, but I knew we were going to get them fixed. And then the guys after the game, I could tell that they saw it too. And they're
Mm.
like, "Oh, we can," and if we just go back to work, we will. And so that for us, and like I told the team yesterday before practice, I said, "Look, we're not asking anybody to do anything for us." And then understand this, boys. We lost 2 games, and we lost them both in the last possession with the ball in our
Mhm,
hand.
mhm.
Right? So nobody's beat us, right? We beat ourselves. And then we acknowledged that we probably didn't even play our best game versus Florida State. We just had a will to win that night. Like we were going to find a way. It wasn't the cleanest, it wasn't the best game. And then from there, the confidence started to grow. But I saw a football team that kind of grew up in ACC play like, man, we belong.
Right.
And we're one play away from winning that game on the road versus a team that we weren't even supposed to be competitive with. So that's kind of when I knew that this group had a shot.
Hmm.
Coach, how about this defense? We're all such
Mm.
offensive-minded people. I feel bad from time to time. We don't give those
Yeah.
guys enough credit, but you guys are tenacious. You have
Mhm.
fun pass rushers. You have guys that when they get their hands on the football, they know what to do with it. Good in coverage. Balance is such a key,
Mhm.
and not just offensively, but being able to lean on either side of the ball to do something. You guys have won a bunch of different ways and
Right.
found a bunch of different ways to win. How vital has their progress been? Because I think they've had their best game against
Yeah.
Virginia Tech and really answered the call there.
Yeah, it's been awesome to watch them come together. I think the previous 2 seasons, as hard as they were, really taught us as a program and as a coaching staff how to win. And what it's going to take and setting the standards from an effort standpoint, from a physicality standpoint. Because if you watch us over the last couple of years, we're going to battle, we're going to scrap, we're going to fight, we're going to play hard. We just didn't have the depth. And I think now what you're seeing is those core values with some depth. And then the issues early in the season defensively was the back end kind of gaining some chemistry, right? Because remember, the bulk of our back end didn't come until after spring practice.
Yeah.
So we had several, I think about 6 or 7 transfers on the back end that didn't get here until the summer. And so we're not able to work with them as much. And so now we only got the 25 practices to try and figure out what we have and then get them in the right spots. And so we knew that with the depth up front and the linebackers in the front in the front 7 that we were going to have a chance to be competitive. We just needed the back end to kind of come along. And that's what's happened is now everybody on defense is kind of on the same page. communicating at a high level. We got some depth to be able to roll. That's good competitive depth on the back end. And I think what you're seeing is what we experienced every day in practice when they're rolling them 12 D linemen out there, and they're always fresh. You know, the linebackers, they're clean to make tackles, and then the cover guys don't have to cover as long. Right. So I think that's really what has changed defensively is the guys on the back end have become more comfortable with the system.
Hmm. Coach, the beauty of your experience is that you've coached in this game a bunch. You have that experience. What is your message to your team, not just with the rematch with Duke in a game that you guys really played well early in the season, but just the moment of playing in an ACC championship and playing for a playoff berth?
Oh, I mean, this is what you work for, but you've already played championship games, right? So we looked at the Florida State, and that's what I told them. I said, hey, you because in my experience in the ACC, you had to go through Florida State, right? And I know the record may not indicate it, but that's still a Florida State caliber football team, talent-wise, ability-wise, size-wise. And so I said, boy, this is what's going to feel like, okay? And the speed of the game was going to be equivalent to a championship game. And so they had the opportunity to experience that. And then in the month of November, we treated every game like it's a championship game. So that when we get to this moment, right, we're not looking at it like anything different other than it's the next game. But we understand that the margin for error, right, is very, very small. And then I told him, I said, hey, it's even a little bit harder for us because we're playing a team the second time. Right. And so we got to make sure that we don't lose to ourselves in buying the lie like, oh, we did it once, we can do it again. Right. So we got to treat this like it's a game, a season of its own, a team that we've never seen. And we got to prepare that way and understand if we do that and we play to our standard, it's going to be all about us. And so I think there's been several games throughout the year that have kind of given us what the feel's going to be like. Now, I got to make sure that when they get there, because the lights are a little bit brighter. Emag, you know this, right? They're a little bit brighter on the stage. Yeah. There's a lot more people down on the field in pregame, right? There's a little bit of a buzz. But what's been awesome is to see the evolution of Scott Stadium. Yes. Right. So this past Saturday, it felt like what it's supposed to feel like in a rivalry game, in a championship game, a state championships on the line, cups on the line, bragging rights. It felt like that. So those guys now have felt that several times this season. So hopefully when we get there on Saturday night, man, they'll just be themselves, and that's really the message to them. Just be yourself. You don't need to be anything other than who you are, because when people were questioning, you know, myself and our players at the ACC Media Days, like, why are y'all talking about championships? Well, you have to be a champion well before you're ever a champion. So you have to think like that. You have to talk like that. You have to act like that in order to, right, bring it to life, because they say you speak things in existence. So these young men have been thinking and acting and training and practicing, you know, like champions for this moment. And so now it's like, block out the noise. Don't do anything different. Do a little bit more of what you've been doing, and you'll be fine.
There we go. Man, I'm ready. I'm ready to play. I can't wait to see you, man. Super excited for you guys. Thank you for your time, and just congratulations. It's truly fun to watch what you're doing, brother.
No, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for the time to visit with y'all. It's been fun.
Rhoback just dropped their licensed game day collection. Polos, hoodies, Q-zips, custom designed for your school. On game days, we wear Rhoback, period.
Darien Mensah, brother, great to see you. Wow, crazy, chaotic. I mean, this is pretty amazing, you know, what you guys are able to accomplish here, the opportunity that you have in front of you. And really, I just want to go back to Saturday night, because it was there. And, you know, you guys put out a video, you know, Duke football put out a video. Coach Diaz is like, hey, stay by your phone. And he's like, just stay by your phone. Who knows? Who knows? So, you know, obviously everyone understands the situation at stake here. And then it happens, and SMU loses the game, and you guys are in. So where were you? Who were you with? What were you doing? Were you asleep? Did you care? Like, walk me through the whole process of Saturday night.
Yeah, I watched the whole entire game. Early in the game, Cal's, turning up on them, and I'm like, oh yeah, we got it in the bag. And then they started coming back. I'm like, oh shoot, and they made it, and it was an awesome game. Shout out to them boys on the West Coast for getting it done. So, but yeah, I was with two of my friends from home. They came and watched my game first, and then my whole family is all tuned into that game, just waiting for it to happen. So.
It reminds me of last year when Syracuse won to put Clemson in the championship, and now, maybe Manny Diaz needs to send something out to Berkeley and thank them for that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Darian, overall, I mean, it's been an interesting kind of narrative, right? Because you've played really well in ACC play. You've had some non-conference losses, but you earned your way in. You're in the ACC Championship. And it feels like maybe a lot of people are rooting against you in some ways, like besides Virginia fans. I don't know, are you feeling that at all? And does it motivate you a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely hearing the noise. We had a team meeting this morning, and our coaches put up all the tweets, and we love to hear that. That's why we're at Duke. I feel like a lot of kids at Duke who are guys who are a little bit under recruited and maybe not the most hyped up, and so we're used to that, and we like being the underdog, and so and you don't get a lot of opportunities to play a team twice in college football, and so to do that, we're extremely excited and can't wait to go out there Saturday and prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, what an opportunity. And just kind of looking at that from your perspective, because I don't think I ever experienced that in my college career. It's not like basketball. We just have such limited games that we play, and we had divisions. So there I guess there was opportunity for some crossover, like a Georgia Tech or Virginia Tech or something like that. But I never experienced that. So what is that like? I mean, what's the mindset? Because obviously, they beat you earlier, but now it's like, okay, yeah, we have that chip on our shoulder. I guess just not to tell you what to say, but where are you with that, having that kind of get back opportunity?
Yeah, they played a great game. I mean, you got to give compliments to them. They played an awesome game. They played hard. They had a good plan against us, and so we're just watching a lot of that tape. And correcting the things that we need to correct. And, that was absolutely not the best offensive performance we could have put out. And so, especially from my position. And so I know I've got to be better. And, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't get an opportunity to do something twice. And so to right your wrongs is something that we're all looking forward to this weekend.
You can choose to not answer this, I guess, Darian, but what did UVA do specifically, did you feel, to disrupt you guys that you want to be able to fix in this matchup?
That's a good question. I think that they did a good job up front, disrupting, our run game. And then so they got us in a lot of third and long. So I think just we've got to be better on early downs and get into more third and medium and third and short. So we can, it's not going to be an obvious passing situation, because then, that's where they want to be. They want to be in that drop zone and get after the quarterback. So as long as we're better on early downs, I think that we'll be in much better shape.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you say that. I was literally at a lunch yesterday, kind of just talking ball with my guy here, and he said everybody wants to be good on third down, but what they don't realize is it takes being good on first and second down to be good on third down. And it's all these. Football is a process, and it all comes together.
Right.
The way that you do that. Just looking at you guys and looking at this team and the journey of this season and kind of where you are. How do you sum up Duke football going into this championship weekend?
Man, just gritty. We've got a bunch of gritty guys, and I, experienced that as soon as I stepped on campus. From the first workout to, even now, dudes are just battling their butts off week in and week out, just trying to get better. And like I said, that's why this is why we're at Duke. It's a certain type of people that get, into the school, and, it's the same thing in academics. They're trying to be the best in that field as well. So I'd say just super gritty, and, we're going to go out and scrap.
Yeah, that's why you're here. That's why you're in this game,
Exactly.
because you've been gritty till the end and beat a really good Wake Forest team, by the way, who, we all thought maybe could get to 9 wins, possibly 10 with a bowl like that. That's a good team who beat Virginia as well. In that game, Darren, you set the school record for passing touchdowns, which I know was a really cool moment for you. I mean, what did that mean? First year here, so much hype and expectations for you, and you've delivered.
Yeah, definitely a little sigh of relief right there. But I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? The pressure's on, you know what I'm saying, in my
Sure.
situation. But shout out to my O-line, my receivers. I could not have done that without them. They've been amazing all year. And 20 in my backfield, 20 and 4 have been a great tandem in the backfield. So, defenses have, they've kind of been forced to key on that as well. So
Mhm.
it's made those windows open up a lot more. So shout out to my guys around me for sure.
Yeah, and you're slinging it, man. I mean, you're top, 6 in the country in passing yards. You don't turn it over through the air. Only 4 picks on the entire season. You're accurate. You do all these type of things. When you do get in that zone and you're throwing for the most touchdowns ever, or score the most touchdowns or the most yards passing, what is that like for you? Just as a QB, like everything just seems to be clicking. Where's your mindset when that's happening?
It's the best feeling. It's like a flow state. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just, that's why I play ball, to get in. And, it starts with your preparation. You've got to be prepared. You got to know where your hearts are, where the protection, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't just start on Saturday. It's not in that moment. It's everything leading up to that point that can really make you feel in that flow state. So,
And
yeah.
when do you know? Like, does it just is it after one throw and you're like, oh man, it's about to be a day, or is it after a while? Like, how do you kind of know when that's about to happen?
I don't know. I'd say it's like throughout a drive, you make a couple throws that's like, okay, like that. Like you realize, but I try not to like get outside of
Yeah,
that mindset. But
yeah.
sometimes it's like, oh wow, like that was nice. But yeah.
What can you speaking of the flow state, I mean, you guys were on fire against Wake, scoring a bunch of points. What can you take from that performance offensively? What do you hope translates from that performance to Saturday night against Virginia?
um, I think our ability to run the ball for sure. If anything, um, we know we can throw it, and so I think the challenge is against a good front four in Wake Forest. I think they only blitzed us like 7% of the time last time we played them, which is pretty low. So if we can run the ball, they're challenging us to run the ball, and so
Mhm.
I think doing that, we're going to throw it. So I'd say running the ball is a big challenge this week.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's when you've been at your best, when you're balanced and when you have that ability. And the good thing is you have that opportunity because you've shown it time and time again and the momentum that you really have here. What is this like for you, man? Just to be playing in an ACC championship. I mean, I remember back to the first time we met in Charlotte, ironically enough, and in the preseason and talking about goals and what you want to accomplish. And I appreciated your realness about all the things happening kind of in your life there. But now that you've done this and you're playing, in this championship, what has it been like for you, man?
Man, a dream come true for sure. That's what you dream about. You want to be playing in the big time games. 8 p.m. Saturday in Charlotte. It don't get much better than that. So, but I really wanted this for my seniors and my guys around me. I think we have like 20 ACC wins in the last 4 years, and so those guys built this, and I'm just a
Mm.
piece to this puzzle. They build everything, and I'm just an add on to this. It's not just me; it's all the hard work they've put in. So I'm glad we can slip in, and we've got to go do something special this weekend. So it's a great feeling for sure, but got to go finish the job.
That's a cool perspective. I don't think you hear that as much in college football these days, Darian. So respect to you on that. Last one for me. It's game day in Charlotte. All right, 8 p.m. kick. You're waiting all day, which sounds terrible. You're going to be playing in Bank of America Stadium. It's a big deal. What is kind of your game day routine? Give us one or two things that you do on a game day that maybe are unique to get you ready.
Yeah, I kind of like the night. I definitely like the night games just because it's a
Okay,
little bit more hype. And also you get to take a nap right before the game, which is nice. So
love that.
Hey, that
that and
pre-nap
then
hits, man.
that's what
Pre-game
I'm
nap.
saying. That's what I'm saying. But taking a nap. But then I'd say I like to listen to like frequencies or like manifestation music. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but
Mm.
it's just like a certain tune. And I like to listen to that while I'm stretching. I have a little pregame stretch routine, and I'll just listen to that in my headphones. I think it's pretty neat that nobody else does it. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Interesting.
Last one, and appreciate your time, man, for this for sure. Walk me through what it's like being coached by Manny Diaz. I mean, just he seems so intense, so passionate, but also really cerebral, and he just is very well thought. Every time I hear him speak, and I have to imagine that's how he is on game day.
Yeah, he's a genius. He's really smart. And he has that defensive perspective that um, not a lot of offensive coaches can offer. So I think I told you, but he sits in all our quarterback meetings, he offers a great perspective as to why the defense is doing what they're doing, which I think is pretty cool. But he's like I like to call him like a silent killer. Like he's not super loud, but when he gets loud, everybody's listening because he's serious about this, and he's about his business. So it's a blessing to be able to play for him.
Yeah, I know that's right. This kind of sparked my interest. Was there a single thing or time in a game, and maybe not in a game, but in a film review that you can remember that he saw something and you're like, oh man, we can attack this? Like his perspective helped you immensely with seeing something that maybe you wouldn't just with his defensive perspective.
Yeah, we run a lot of post over in our offense. And so, like just today, we were out there and our defense is cutting the cross with the post safety, and they're trying to whoever is running with that over the corner is trying to get to that post. So it kind of, you know, it's kind of a visually, it's hard for the quarterback if you see the safety bite down on the over. You think you've got the post, but the corner is hollering,
Corner's waiting for you.
Yeah, he's trying to go get and make that play. So, just stuff like that is, they call it X-ray, and so now I know when I say an X-ray, I'm not gonna throw that post. So, just stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, is stuff that I, wouldn't know if I didn't have him. So
yeah, that's amazing, man. Well, hey, we're excited for you. What an opportunity, and can't wait to see you on Saturday, my man. Thanks for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Good to see you again.